So Caroline, I've realized like we've hung out all this week and we've talked a lot about the songwriting process and like honestly we've really had like a little seminar through our conversations on like a little huddle on what our experience is. So in some ways it's funny to talk in front of cameras because it's like we've talked about all these things. But the thing we haven't talked about is I don't know like how you've gotten into songwriting and being a touring musician and like what happened? Why are you here?
Why am I here?
Are you okay?
I'm doing great. Thank you for checking in. I just like as a kid, music was sort of presented to me as something fun to do. Like my grandfather played guitar for fun, my aunt played for fun, and like made up little songs. And like my grandfather would be like, "All right, Caroline, what's this one called?" And I would be 3 or 4 years old and be like, "It's called the Snake Song." And he would say, "Is it slow or is it fast?" And I would think, and I'd say, "It's fast." And he'd be like, "All right, here we go." And he'd start playing something, and I would just sing over it, just make it up like the way kids make up songs. I still write that way, where I'm like, "What's this one called? Okay, what is it like? Is it slow or is it fast?" And so I kind of always did that for fun and then didn't think about it being a career that you could have kind of until I was in high school and was like falling in love with music and songwriting.
What was the music you were falling in love with?
Well, one of the things that sort of like cued me into the business side of things was an artist I really loved when I was about 15 is Lori McKenna. And at the time, she was just a singer-songwriter from Boston. And then Faith Hill recorded one of her songs, and I was like, wait a second, that's a thing you can do? And I was like, how cool would that be? And so that kind of like made me think about all the different places that the songs that you're writing could go. And that was a super inspiring thing. That's definitely like why I ended up, considering moving to Nashville, because that was where people went to get other people to record their stuff. So that's my journey.
Were you playing songs? Like, did you play gigs in high school? Like
Yeah.
your original songs?
Yeah, I had like the world's coolest aunt, and she like knew how to record music, and she wrote songs, and she played, and she had a gig, and she asked me to open when I was like 15 or 16, and she knew I'd been writing, didn't know if my songs were good or anything, but she gave me the gig, and I played, and the club owner was there, and I apparently didn't suck because he invited me to like come open for a couple other bands. So I was like the kid that opened the little folk shows when they'd come through town. So I got the bug for sure.
Cool.
Yeah. What about y'all? I know you're from Virginia. She's from like an hour from where I grew up.
Like right. Yeah, really.
Yeah, the next area code over. So we're from the same area, but you're like, did you go to like fiddle camps and stuff growing up?
Yeah, I went to like not fiddle camps, but like just old time music festivals.
Yeah.
Like Riley went to like fiddle camps in the West Coast where he's like, it was more structured, and you're like playing fiddle music of all different genres. And I didn't really play the fiddle. I like started a little bit on the fiddle when I was young, but it was like much more kind of loose and free form. It was more like my every summer my parents would bring me to like some local fiddlers conventions, and like I would just run free for 3 to 7 days and then go back home. So yeah, that was like kind of a very open space to be into music. And it wasn't like old, so I kind of grew up around old time, like traditional Appalachian music, and it wasn't that like that music was always, I didn't always want to make that music, or it wasn't that like that was, it wasn't like that was the only music I cared about or wanted to play or listen to, but it definitely was like the backdrop of like my entire life.
Like what you were raised in.
And what I was raised in, it was just kind of, the entire like decor of my life. So it was definitely influenced all the music that I did make. And my parents also were like professional musicians, and they were together when I was really little, and they toured. It would bring me on tour and stuff, and
that's so cute.
I would like tag along to their different gigs. So I just was they always encouraged me to do it and taught me songs.
And how did y'all start playing together?
So it's like it's a little funny because I found Viv's parents' music on my dad's iTunes library when I was in high school, and like got really, because my parents were fans of her parents in the 90s. Have we talked about this?
No, we haven't talked about this. That's so cute.
So, and her parents were like on around her, and they were really doing the thing and wrote beautiful songs and like. Anyway, I found some of those like original music records and some of the old time records, and I got really into them. And then we met out at a fiddle camp in Port Townsend, Washington, and we just like, I was super awkward at first because like I was sort of like a fan of the family. But then we ended up staying. I grew up playing in a band, like a fiddle band that I started when I was 7, called the Onlys, and
It's a good band name for a 7-year-old.
Yeah. When we were 7, we were called Beach 3.
Okay.
Not as good. But then, so we had.
You grew up being in bands, so like collaborating was always something that you looked for.
Yeah.
Well, it was. I mean, Riley always had like these 3 friends that he played with, and they knew each other since they were 2. And I was in the old time scene, and there were definitely people I loved to play with. And when I was a late teenager, I was definitely getting more into it. But when I met those 3 people, like that was really when old time music especially like just clicked for me, because they were the first people that were exactly my age, like doing the same thing like really well. I was just really impressed. Like you guys knew it really deeply and were like just really like fun and competent and like, yeah. So it just was really inspiring to be like, oh, this is actually something that people at the same place in life as me are doing. And then Riley and I also bonded because we both write music that kind of stretches out of that genre. But like we both had that like background. So it was just really fun to like, make our original music together. Yeah. Caroline, do you want to play one of your songs for us?
Yeah. Will you play Skilly's Waltz with me? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thanks, guys. It's your turn. What are you gonna play?
We're gonna do one called Sauvie Island, since we're in Oregon.
Yeah.
So
Sauvie
Yeah.
Island is like an island that's a little bit northwest of Portland, like right on the northwest. And when we were living in Portland during 2020 and 2021, like, you know, it's a weird time, and like we would go to that island a lot. And yeah, it's just sort of about.
purple sky, yellow leaves, flickering screens across the street, peeling paint off old concrete. Next door band just at a beat. Dryer's broke, but we're still fine. Hanging clothes out on the line. Mix